Hey guys, happy Thursday. Chris here. I hope you're all having a great day. I want to talk in today's video about a conversation that actually came up with a client earlier this morning. And it really relates to kind of that old saying of the grass is always greener on the other side. But to me, the saying should be the grass is always greener until you see what it takes to make it grow, right? So, we all have that neighbor, right? We have that neighbor who's got like the perfect yard, the perfect lawn. They're like, it's perfectly green all the time. There's no weeds. It's the same height all the way around. Always looks like picture perfect, like the cover of a magazine or something. But over time, it may become a little bit less appealing to you because you're starting to realize the amount of work that's going into maintaining that lawn. This guy's out there early in the morning, late at night, spending tons of money on treatments, spending money on companies to come do it, like, the whole 9 yards, spending money on an irrigation system. So then after a while, you're like, I don't really want that. So I want you to apply this to your fitness goals and think about this for a minute, and I'll kind of tie this into the conversation that I had. Now, before we get into this, I am in no way, shape, or form advocating that you guys be lazy. I'm not telling you to give up on your goals. What I am telling you is that you need to take a realistic long-term view of what your goals are, what it's going to take to get you there, and what are you actually willing to do. Because many times when people set a certain goal or they say they want to do a certain thing, they don't really realize what's involved with that. And I'm not saying that they're lazy, but I'm just saying you have to be realistic in what you're willing to do to achieve that particular goal. And trust me, I've done it before. I had a brief period of time where I was actually kind of interested in training for either a bodybuilding show or like a physique show or something. And then I started really researching what would go into that, and I wasn't real interested anymore. And if you want to say I'm lazy because of that, that's fine. What I would say is that I'm realistic, and I know there's things I'm just not willing to do to achieve that result. So the conversation that came out today, I was speaking with a client, and he said to me, hey, can I ask you a question? How come Henry Cavill, I think that's how you say his name, is 2 years younger than me and is absolutely jacked out of his mind? Now, you need to realize, for me, I am not a pop culture person. I have no friggin' idea who Henry Cavill is. I guess he's an actor. I had to look him up. When I tell you, I literally, outside of watching The Office on Netflix, I watch about 15 minutes of TV a day. So I had no clue who this guy was. So I looked him up. He's an actor. I guess he was in Superman and Superman vs. Batman and blah, blah, blah. So you look at this guy, and if you're a fan of fitness or physiques, he's in great shape, and you'd probably want that body. And I think as a guy, if you look at that in a vacuum and say, would you want to look like that? You're probably going to say yes. And if you say no, you're probably lying, right? This guy, he's a good-looking dude. He looks like he's chiseled out of granite, the whole nine. He's got it all, blah, blah, blah. So my client asked me this question, and I said, okay, let me look into it. So I look him up. And and when my client told me who this person was, I looked into his training regimen, because that's always something that's interesting to me. I do kind of like looking into how actors or whoever train for certain roles. And a direct quote from an article this guy said about training for his role for the Superman movie was, he said, how did it start? He said, you're eating stockyards full of protein every single day, and then it's time to convert that into muscle. So if you want to look like this, be prepared to train 2.5 hours a day, 5 days a week. So that right there, I would tell you, is not realistic for most people. And I think the thing that most people don't really think about when it comes to, especially celebrities, and both men and women do it, right? How many times have you heard a girl or woman say, oh, I'd love to have, such and such person's butt, or I'd love to look like this person, or whatever. The thing that people don't realize is that when it comes to like celebrities, athletes, fitness personalities, it is literally their job to look the way they do. That is their job. Like, you and I have regular jobs. I'm a personal trainer. My job is to help people get healthy and achieve their goals. A celebrity's job is to look beautiful pretty much at all times, right? So you need to realize that when you look at these people and you say, oh, I wish I looked like that. I wish I had this guy's muscles. Or a woman says, oh, I wish I had this girl's bum or this girl's, arms or whatever. If you knew what it took to look the way they look, I bet you would say, I don't really want to look that way. It's not worth it to me. So when these people are training, when they're getting ready for a role, when they're getting ready for a tour and they have to be in shape, you don't understand, you really don't, how hard they have to work and how they have to deprive themselves to look that certain way, okay? So when I tell you their nutrition is like dialed into the nth degree, like every drop of water, every calorie, every nutrient, every vitamin, every macro is absolutely tracked to a T. And they really eat, breathe, and sleep this particular training that they're doing, like the type of training, the type of eating they're doing. And it's simply just not realistic for really any regular person. And I include myself in that. Okay. If you are someone who has millions of dollars and you have the time and energy to devote to that, and you have a personal chef who's going to cook all your meals, and you have a nutritionist who's going to tell you the exact amounts of every single thing you should be eating and drinking every single day, knock yourself out, guys. Have at it. Go nuts. But for the rest of us, I want you to stop. I want you to stop comparing yourself or thinking that you need to look or should look the way that any celebrity looks, because they have the time, the money, and the people surrounding them to make it much easier to achieve those results, guys. I don't want you comparing yourself to things like that. The only thing, if you're insistent on comparing yourself to anything, and I really don't think comparing yourself is a good idea. I'm a big believer in Teddy Roosevelt's quote that comparison is the thief of joy, okay? I've seen it so many times. People compare themselves to other people in the gym. Well, how come I don't look like that? How come I'm not doing that? How come I can't run that far? How come I can't lift that much? Don't do that, because all it's going to do is ruin what you're working for. So if you're insisting on comparing yourself to something or someone, compare yourself to where you were a month ago or where you were a year ago, because that's really all that matters. It doesn't matter what Henry Cavill is doing or what he looks like. I don't care. I don't care if he's in better shape than me, and you shouldn't either. So stop comparing yourself to other people. And that's the thing I really want you to take from this video is be okay with you. Be okay with where you are, your progress, your journey, and don't worry about what anyone else is doing, particularly celebrities and you know, fitness people, people that are living lifestyles that none of us will ever likely experience, okay? It's not realistic, and it's really just setting you up for disappointment and kind of feeling bad about yourself, and you should never feel bad about yourself because of what someone else is doing, okay? So that's my message for today. The grass is always greener on the other side until you figure out what it takes to actually make that grass grow, okay? So feel free to share out this video to anyone that you feel like might benefit from it. Feel free to hit that red subscribe button at the bottom, follow my YouTube channel. Of course, if you have any questions or if you want to learn more about any of the programs or coaching that I offer, please feel free to shoot me an email at chrisproctorwellness@gmail.com, okay? Have a great day, guys.